Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
There is a book that's getting a lot of attention, and it's based on facts, 3+ years of research. And the book is called The Liberal Record: How Liberals Changed the World. And what's interesting is he's a registered independent. So the motivation here isn't political, it's more of setting the facts straight. And we're going to delve into some of those facts and things that back up the issues in the book with evidence. Marcelo Brazzi joins us on the program. He's the author of the book. Marcelo, welcome back. How are you?
Yeah, hi, Steve. How you doing?
I'm well. Yeah, in the past, we've talked about different issues related to liberals, and we're going to go a little bit deeper today, it sounds like, with some proof of some of the research you've done and some of the graphs and data points that are in the book. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I don't like just opinions and blanket statements. People say, "Oh, this is good, this bad." I really believe in numbers and data, and I'd like to basically explain for your listeners some of the data that I've collected over the years, and it's from reliable sources like the Department of Labor and other. It's not just political data. So yeah, I think we could maybe go into some of that. It's worthwhile.
Sure. And it's interesting. Yeah, anybody can try and punch a hole, and you've said this before. You almost can't win an argument with facts because somebody will try and mess around with it. But now, Department of Labor, I think that's a valid source. I don't think
they're not political.
That's my point. It's not politically motivated, but there it is, and it's public. It's public record. What you've done is taken it and then applied it to this, just to illustrate certain points. Where do you want to start?
Well, let me just do a quick picture of where we're at, and I think I like to start with a survey of happiness around the world for all the different countries.
Sure.
But let me just make one comment ahead of time. One of the issues we talked about last time was the concept that conservatives have always been on the wrong side of history. And we talked about a whole long list of issues, from 40-hour work week to women voting to selling alcohol to civil rights, all that stuff. And if you look at it, the Republicans have always been on the wrong side of history. And after time, everybody gets used to these things and everybody takes it for granted. So, and another issue that I think really needs to be understood is that the economy truly does better under Democrats. A lot of people don't understand that, and the Democrats don't even point it out. But those are a couple big issues that we need to think about. But anyway, let me move on to the happiness survey. They've done these surveys every year or two of countries all over the world, and they look at a various collection of metrics and things. I have they looked at 21 countries, and out of the 21, 17 of the 21 countries had a higher level of happiness for the general population than the United States. The United States was rated number 18 on the list. So there are 17 countries have in this study, and they do this every year. I think every 2 years they do this study. And so the United States is pretty far down the list on happiness, which might surprise a lot of people. But I can understand it. But anyway, that's one of the, and I got this from the World Happiness Report, which just comes out periodically. Another one is the economy. Again, I got this data from Bloomberg and from the Department of Labor. And over 50 years, the economy pretty much has done, well, always has done better under Democrats. And a lot of people argue with that, whatever. But here's the numbers. And I have a table. I forget what page it's on. But I have a table, and it shows Republicans and Democrats for these different metrics. And then I got 4 of them here that I'll mention. Jobs created. 24 million jobs were created under Republicans. 42 million were created under Democrats. The stock market has gone up under Republicans 109%. Under Republicans, gone up 109%. Under Democrats, the stock market has gone, this is over the years, almost 1,000%, about 990% it's gone up. Again, doing better under Democrats. The GDP, the GDP under Republicans has gone up about 2.6%. Under Democrats, it's gone up 4.1%. Income growth, this is the last one. Under Republicans, the income has grown 0.6%. Under Democrats, it's gone up 2.2%. So, that's, it gives you an idea of an overall picture, but there's another one that covers the big picture. We mentioned this in the past. And it's called the Gini Income Equality Rating. And this is a rating that, has been developed over the years to rate countries on income equality. So, and the way the rating goes is that if you have everybody equal, same income, which is goofy. I mean, that's that's not possible. But if you did, the rating would be zero. And the other way, if everybody, one person had all the income, the rating would be 1.0. So you get a scale between 0 and 1. The U.S. on that scale, income inequality, it turns out there were 60% of the countries had better income equality, or more equal income equality. And about 40% of the countries, the equality was, the United States was better income equality than 40% of states. So the United States is kind of in the middle, a little bit on the negative side. But again, that's just pointing out things that people don't normally are aware of. There's the Gini index is a published index. You can look it up any place. So again, that's giving you a picture of where the United States is with respect to the rest of the world. In healthcare and healthcare, I wanted to go into next, and that's a big one as far as I'm concerned. I have on page 61 table 3-4 tables. Table 3 is a list of drugs. I have a table with various drugs listed and then what they cost in different countries. So you go down the list for a certain drug and you look, what does that cost in this country and that country and the United States? There's one drug, I don't want to go through the whole list. Copaxone, it's a high, I don't know what it is, but it costs in the United States, it costs $4,000. In England, United Kingdom, it costs $900. And this is true for like a whole range of drugs. That in the United States, we're paying like sometimes 3, 4, or 5 times as much as any other country. And that, why is that? Let me move on to CEO salaries. Because in the United States, all medical industry, drugs, insurance, hospitals, all of it is profit driven. It's all profit driven. Okay. Well, that profit cap on top of the regular costs, I had the list on I forget what page that is. Table 4. I have 15 CEOs. The CEOs of 15 various countries from insurance and drugs and things like that. The income for these CEOs ranges roughly from 15 million per year to around 25, 30 million per year. That's a lot of money. The number one guy on the list is a guy named Ian Reed. He works for Pfizer. Well, he's, I guess, the CEO of Pfizer. And he gets $27 million a year compensation. And that's in addition to a lot of other costs. Well, now, in other countries, they don't have CEOs making millions and millions of dollars, and that's why they're caught. One of the big reasons why healthcare in other countries is a lot less. And we've talked about the other thing about the coding thing and other issues. But the bottom line is that when your organization has as its goal to make profits, that's your number one objective for existing. Well, everything else comes second. Like in the case of medical cases, the healthcare quality and service and all that, they still try to do a good job. Don't get me wrong. They're trying to do a good job, obviously. And a lot of them do. A lot of them do a very good job. But the bottom line is that they still have to cover the expenses of the salaries of all these executives. They have to pay for the drugs and all the other, the insurance companies and biomedical engineering and all that stuff. And so it's
marketing. And
marketing.
I don't know if they do that in other countries. It's big. It's big here in the States. Marketing is a big aspect of many of the major pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. There's a whole industry is, it's just got, profit and sales and high salary. It's just and the United States is the only country that's like that. And when back around 1950, Truman tried to pass a universal health care, government care for health care, and because other countries had already been down that road. Germany had it for decades, and other countries have had universal health care for a long time. Anyway, when Truman was pushing that around 1950, everybody thought it was a good idea except the Republicans. They kept voting against all healthcare plans, no matter what it was or anything. And that continued for like 30, 40, maybe more years. That anytime under Clinton's, they proposed some kind of a healthcare thing, and that didn't get off the ground. So Republicans had just completely opposed all healthcare forever. And finally, Obamacare came in, and they were able to pass Obamacare. But even at that, the Republicans were still trying to shoot it down. They took it to court like 4 or 5 times to trying to get rid of it, and they never could get rid of it. And they came out with one plan, but even that plan was not acceptable. So let me.
And again, these are all factual data that we're looking at here, from actually coming from government agencies, and it seems like very reputable sources. There's no skewing here. If anybody wants to try and punch holes in the facts, that's I don't think that can be done here.
Yeah, let me. Yeah, you're right. Another item here, table 5 in the book. It showed you to think with all this expense that we're the most expensive healthcare in the world. You would say, well, yeah, but we got the best healthcare and everybody loves it better. No, it's not the way it is. I list in table 5. I have a long list of metrics like service and the quality and availability, a bunch of metrics. Okay, and then I have across the top different countries. Of the countries I had listed there, I didn't list many. I think 5 countries. The United States was lowest. UK was the number. United Kingdom, they came out as number 1 in people's satisfaction, and that's the whole point. The United States is not only the most expensive, but it is not the one with the people are the most happy with. That's a good. I mean, our healthcare is good. I can't say it's terrible or anything like that, but I don't think we're getting what we're paying for. All right.
100 billion%. I'll share with you. I went to the doctor the other day, routine checkup, just doing labs. Haven't done it in a couple of years. Not a good thing, but it was good that I did. My primary is not covered by my insurance, and they're very good. They're very efficient. So guess what? I actually pay out of pocket for my visit. They give me a break. And it's probably double what a copay would be, but because their service is so good, I gravitate there, and
Yeah.
it's almost like it's painful, but I don't have to. They don't make you wait. You call up, the person that answers the phone can give you the answer. It's not a runaround. Um, Great service, but unfortunately, they don't take my insurance and maybe not every other insurance as well. Just an example.
Yeah. No, it's uh we're really not, we could do better. Let's just put it that way.
By
Okay.
far.
Let me mention another statistic.
Sure.
You have the government, the United States has a GDP. Every country has a GDP, gross domestic product. It's a measure of all productivity and products and everything. In the United States, medical health care accounts for 20% of our GDP. Okay. 20% of our GDP is what our goes to health care. In other countries, almost all the countries, not everyone, but nearly all the others, the percent of GDP is like 10% or less. I mean, it's less than 10%. And that again, it goes back to all these overhead costs and everything like that.
Sure.
The cost per capita in the United States is $6,300. That's if you take all the expenses, divide it by the number of people, the average cost for everybody. And this, I guess, includes insurance payments, not just the expense of the treatment, but the insurance that goes into that. And in the United States, the cost per capita is $6,300. The average of all other countries is $2,600. So, I mean, the American healthcare system really needs to be, I don't think we need changes. Okay.
You don't have to be a mathematician to figure that one out.
um, yeah, and again, I go back. I blame the Democrats and Republicans. I don't think we talked about guns yet. I got a few numbers about guns on page 69, chart 3. I show how the more guns you have, the more gun debts you have. And that's rated on the number of families in each state. It's by state. Each state where they have a certain number of gun families. Okay. So you got gun families by state and a number of deaths on the vertical axis. And you draw a line through all the states, and it's a kind of a 45-degree angle line, just goes straight up like this, meaning that the more guns you have, the more deaths you have. So there's a correlation, which is common sense. I don't even know why you're even talking about it. I mean, if you got more cars, you're going to have more car accidents, right? I mean, if you got more swimming pools, you're going to have more drowning accidents. If you got more guns, you're going to have more.
Fair enough.
Yeah, right. So I don't even know why, but people don't understand that. Okay, so this table or graph chart 3 shows that more guns, more dead people. I have another chart 4, page 69, and it lists countries going down vertically, and then horizontally is a number of deaths per million people. So it's a ratio. It's not just a hard number, but it's a ratio number. And it shows, and each country's got a line on there. Right? It's got a bar. And the United States, of course, is on the top, number 1. Mm-hmm. We have 66 people per million, 66 deaths, killings per million people. And as you go down the chart, all the other bars are smaller and smaller. It goes all the way down to Japan, which has 0 deaths per million people. So the graph clearly shows that the United States has more deaths per million people than any other country. I got some of this data I got out of the Mother Jones and the Parkland report. So again, but we talked about this before, is that all of the attempts to reduce gun violence, everything you talk about, whether it's red flag laws, whether it's background checks, whether it's waiting periods, whether it's guns, automatic guns, any of that stuff, anything at all, it's always opposed by Republicans. And most people know this. I mean, they take it for granted, actually. I mean, it's not like but it's taken for granted. But the point is that I think the Democrats do not educate the people on these things. That's, it's kind of a big reason I wrote the book. It's that people need to understand the correlation is 100% between our healthcare being what it is and our gun murder situation being what it is. We have two of the biggest problems in our country. And the actual hardcore statistics show that Republicans have fought tooth and nail constantly over all the years to oppose healthcare of any kind and to oppose any kind of gun restrictions of any kind. So the bottom line should be clear that we need to push, the Democrats need to, in their campaigns, their election campaigns and on the media and everything else, we need to push the concept that the correlation is 100% between our healthcare being the worst in the world and the killings being the worst in the world. It all correlates to the Republicans opposing all those things, but nobody makes that point. I mean, you listen to the political commercials, you listen to political speeches, and they go on around, about all kinds of other things, and but nobody makes the connection that, and it just bothers me. It really ticks me off.
And I gotta believe here that, Marcelo, you're not trying to beat on the Republicans. You're just
I'm trying to save America, help America.
You're just stating the facts. The facts are the facts, valid sources, and that's it. I mean, it could be, if there was any political party, the purple people, whatever it might be.
Right.
If it was the same, it would be them, whatever.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Steve, that years ago, before this all happened, there was both Republicans and Democrats. And like I said, I voted for Republicans in the past. They got along. They had compromise. They had cooperation. They would handle, the issues that were on the table.
Yeah.
They would take a look at it, take an objective look at it. And if it was best for the country, Republicans, Democrats, some of both sides, they would, vote for it. That's how we made progress throughout all these years. But today, we're in a different world where Republicans look at every issue, I don't care what issue it is, as political. They don't look at the effectiveness or the need or the help to whatever it is. I don't know if we got enough time to go into all this stuff, but like right now they got Trump being indicted. Well, every Republican TV station and speaker, they all say they ignore the facts of the case that Trump has actually committed some crimes and obstructed justice, and he took all, but nobody talks about that. All they talk about is it's a political thing. And that's the big issue, and everybody buys into that. So I blame the Democrats for not clarifying, educating the people on the stuff that you and I are talking about right now.
What's interesting, in the seconds we have left here, you're illustrating the Republican facts, and then you're also on the other side looking at Democrats for not pointing it out and being proactive about it. So it's almost, as a registered independent, and this is not about liberals, although this is what the book is about. It's almost as if you're just flying above and just, with a banner that says, "Hey guys, take a look at this." Interesting.
I just wish more people understood the big picture. People get wrapped up in small issues because that's what's on the news, and the news, again, magazines, newspapers, TV, whatever, they don't do any more to educate the public than the Democrats do.
What we said a long time ago is that in a couple of episodes back, with the government deregulation of the media, you don't have to present both sides. Those days are gone. So if pick a news outlet, they may skew in certain directions. So you're getting a polarized version every time you watch TV. You're not getting the straight out facts where you can make your own decision. I don't do politics. I don't get involved. It just never goes right. But I appreciate your information And it's something definitely to think about in the book, The Liberal Record, How Liberals Change the World. It's available on Amazon, definitely on the website, which is theliberalrecord.com. Great tables, great graphs, years of research in there, and amazing reviews. And they just keep pouring in.
A lot of good reviews, really.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Marcelo, thank you so much for being here and all the details. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for helping me get the word out.
That's what we're doing. And then partially, judge for yourself, or even at the very least, there are some pages from the book. Even if you click the link on the website to Amazon, skim it for yourself. Good weekend read. We're coming right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.